Hey everyone. Rachel, we good now?
We good. We
Okay,
good.
good. All right, everyone. We started a little tardy. We had some technical difficulties, but the melanated people that we are, we always know how to make it work. And we have
Yeah.
definitely Afrocentrically engineered this. All right. So anyone, if you can hear me, just put a one in the chat. If not, we just gonna keep rolling with it. So
Yes. Yes.
hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. If you do not know me, my name is Ursula B, and I will be your hostess with the mostest tonight. But tonight, what I do, everything is about mental health and wellness. Some people may or may not know I'm a mental health advocate professionally and personally, so this just fuels my soul with these conversations we're about to have. But before I get into that, anyone watching, make sure you just drop in, say hello. If you're listening on the audio podcast, make sure let me know. Give your girl a 5-star review, and make sure like, comment, and share this video. We got to get this algorithm up and let YouTube know
Yes.
we have some mental health advocates in these YouTube
Yes.
streams, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, as some may or may not know, September is suicide. Hey, T. T, can you hear me?
Hey.
Put a one in the chat if you can hear me, please. So, some may or may not know that September is Suicide Awareness Month. So, I'm finding my people. I have Rachel Butterlove. She can't hear. Oh, Rachel, she can
Yeah.
hear us. Let's get it. Okay. So, yes, I'm finding my people. So, Rachel here, also known as Butter Love, she is
Yes.
also a mental health advocate. So, tonight we're going to have story time. A lot of us, whether we know it a lot, we have our own lived experiences. So, that's the beauty of being mental health advocates or just being human, where we can just talk about our experience without any guilt, shame, and just being transparent. And doing that is ways that we can destigmatize mental health, especially in our community, our meaning the Black community, because a
Yes.
lot of us, we were raised, and I get it because I've been like that. We're just raised to just pray it away, hide it, put it upstairs. But being a believer myself, two things can exist at the same time. You can
Exactly.
pray and you can also seek mental health. So,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, Rachel, why don't you tell us a little bit about? Oh, wait. Before we do that, I want to let everybody know I found this beautiful sister on TikTok, and I've been stalking her page for a couple months now. But the way my procrastination gets me sometimes, but I had a vision and you happen to pop up. I said, let me do this right now. And here we are. So,
Yes,
Rachel, you want to
ma'am.
tell all our listeners about you a little bit?
Yes, I do. Hi, my name is Rachel, but I go by Rachel Butterlove Banks on Facebook, Butterlove Styles on 6068 on Instagram, and Butterlove 6068 on TikTok. And I am a activist for caregivers and a huge activist for mental health in the Black community, because we are so suppressed when it comes to mental health. The medical community treats us like we don't exist. Um, and my goal is to take the shame out of mental health in the Black community, because I have an adult son who was dealing with severe mental and physical disabilities.
So, we're going to get into that. But before that, I want to let people know Butter Love is multi hyphenated. Like you said, the caregiver, the mental health advocate. You have your 9 to 5. You just have a lot going on, but in a beautiful way because it's impactful.
Yes,
But
and I'm also in the process of opening up a day support center for mental health.
see what
So
I'm
that's
saying,
another
people?
one.
See what I'm saying? So I'm going to tell you what really impressed me about you when I would watch your TikTok streams. I'm gonna tell you right now. You streamed one time and you had your son Kevin next to you, your adult son Kevin,
Mhm.
and you were going down a list on what you do because he is a black man, and we all
Yes.
know in America being a black man can be dangerous even when they're minding their business, and for sisters too. And you
Mhm.
said you went down to your local police station and let them know about him in case they
Yep.
see him and if he may have an episode that they know. When you said that, I said, that's how you do it, right? I was
Yeah.
so impressed.
Thank you.
So impressed. Do you
Yeah.
remember when you did that stream?
Yeah, and I do it all the time. See,
Ah,
because my son is 5'11", 240 pounds solid, and just to give you an idea of what he's dealing with, my son Kevin is 38 years old. He is diagnosed bipolar schizophrenic with severe depression, traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury. He's also diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Because of the spinal cord injury, his head shakes like this, and he walks like a toddler.
like a
So,
who?
like a toddler, like a
Oh,
small child,
really?
like he'll wobble. If you look at my videos, he walks like this, and his head shakes uncontrollably. So when I first got him down here in 2021, because my son tried suicide by cop, and a lot of people don't know that's a real thing.
Yes, it is. I didn't
Now
know that part.
oh yeah, I was living down here. I had recently lost my husband in 17, and so and I had my mom for 15 years, and she had Alzheimer's, congestive heart failure, and Parkinson's.
Mm.
So I had couldn't take her with me to travel to get him. So I had to get him down here. And once he got down here, I got him diagnosed. I got him hooked up with Chesterfield Mental Health here in Virginia. I went and got all his documentations from his neurologist, his psychologist. I took that, and at that time, I only had power of attorney. Now I have guardianship, and that's another thing, another topic we can talk about. I took
Definitely.
I took that, my power of attorney paperwork. I took paperwork for my mortgage. I took how they can contact me, where I work at, how they can contact my oldest, and at that time my youngest son was still here in Virginia. How they can contact me. I took a picture of him, and I actually took him with me. So when you do that, you want to bring that person, or if not the person, you still want to bring all that documentation. I took what can trigger him. I let them know that he is not a threat. His schizophrenia is self harm because it's suicidal. He is self harm.
Mm.
And when you do that, you want to speak to the chief, the lieutenant, or the captain of the police department. So, and that in itself makes them accountable of if they, you know, interact with my son. Now,
Okay.
mhm,
May I ask a question? Can we go
yes,
back a little bit? So
mhm.
I don't know in what sequence did he have the early onset Alzheimer's or like his spinal or his brain injury? What was that about?
Okay, my son, and I contribute this to a young lady. Look at some of my TikToks. It's a young lady on TikTok named Marilyn.
Okay.
Marilyn has a daughter that has what they call DMDD. DMDD is a cognitive disorder where children cannot control their anger. And I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, that was my son when he was younger. And I'm thinking he was just being a bad kid. Now remember, they don't talk about that in the black community.
No.
They don't. So he was a troubled teen, but it was a medical condition.
And what is it called?
DMDD.
D as in dog?
D as in dog, M as in medical, D as in dog, D as in dog.
Really?
His son actually has it. I got his son tested. They
What?
can't control. They cannot control their anger. Mental health is in my family. My father had mental health. Actually, his father committed suicide playing Russian roulette when he was 3.
Really?
Mhm. When he turned 3 years
Wow.
old. So
Wow.
mental health, Alzheimer's, and dementia. It's an hereditary thing. It's in my family. So
Mm.
I recognized the signs with my mother, but I didn't recognize the signs with Kevin
Hmm.
because we never talked about that. We don't talk about mental health issues in the black community. We put our family members away.
Why
That's
do
what
you
we do.
think we do that? I have my ideas, but why do you? I want to hear what you think.
I can tell you right now why I think we do that. You need to go back to when we were enslaved.
Okay.
Remember, you know the old saying, kids are seen and not heard.
Yes.
What goes on in the house stays in the house. All
Mm-hmm.
right, now compare that to the slaves, especially if you was a house slave and you had to serve the plantation owner. You were up against the wall with your head down. You were seen, but you weren't heard
Not
until
heard.
your name was called. Now, what goes on in the house stays in the house. I want you to also, we got to take that back to slavery days. Imagine you having a young daughter, and either the plantation owner or the overseer decides, I want that little girl. What the father gonna do? He can't do anything. What the mother gonna do? So you got to present your child to that slave owner or
Yeah.
to that particular overseer. And hush, don't we ain't gonna talk about it no more. It's just what it is. What it is, gal. It is what. So that has been embedded in our DNA for generations.
It
That is a trauma.
has.
That's a trauma that we have in our community for generations. This is why
Yeah.
so many children are suffering now because we don't see them and we don't hear them. But I broke that cycle with my children. I see you. I hear you.
That's beautiful. I love that. It's funny you said that because last weekend I was out with some of my athletic friends. We play a lot of pickleball together, and the topic at our lunch table was about being seen and not heard in our black households, and that was just the thing. And you think that it's just you, but we all know that collectively that's how we are as a community. But it is what it is, and this is what it looks like on the other end. And I'm glad you said that because Dr. Joyce DeGruy talks about that with the post-traumatic slave syndrome, exactly what you said. Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Isn't she
So
powerful?
she's beyond powerful. She's
Yeah,
revolutionary. And that's what a lot of people don't
absolutely.
understand. So with Kevin, now we come from New Jersey. As we all know, the hood is not kind to people with mental health. They're not
No.
kind. My
Mm-mm.
son has been beaten in the head, kicked in the head with a steel pipe. So he's had several head traumas. When I got him here in July of 2021, he apparently had told some guys that he was getting a stimulus and he thought someone stole his check. He picked a fight with the superintendent's nephew or son, and he came, and I have a picture of that on my TikTok. He came with a
What?
gash in his head. So
What?
another hit in my son's head can literally take him out. Now,
Wait, wait,
I
wait,
didn't.
wait, wait. So what did you say when he came home and you saw it?
First of all, I couldn't believe this was my son, and I blame me. And I'm gonna tell you
Why?
why. I'm gonna tell you why I blame me. I had my mother for 15 years. I am the youngest out of three. I
Mm-hmm.
was the only one. My older sister hasn't seen my mother in 20 years. My other sister, every couple of years, she would come down. Every
Mm-hmm.
couple of years and would stay one night. So it was just me. And that's a lot dealing with someone like that with
Mm-hmm.
Alzheimer's. And my son got into a program where because he was homeless up there, and I kept telling him, "Come on down, come on down, come on down." And he was homeless up there for a while, so he got into a program where he had his own apartment, but it was bad. And I think I didn't want to see it at first, so he called me, "Ma, I'm hungry." I said, "All right, I'm gonna get your ticket. Come on down."
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you how the angels work. There was a lady that was on the same Greyhound bus. Now I was lucky; I used to work for Greyhound, so I know all the drivers, and all the drivers know my children.
Oh wow. Okay.
But he got lost. He lost his medication. He lost his clothes. People were taking advantage of him up north. They were taking. I mean, just it was just horrible. And when my son got down, he I didn't recognize him. He had an afro out the ear.
Mm.
The lady was like, "I'm gonna watch your child, but I get off in Maryland." I said, "Thank you." She called me. She said, "I don't mean to be disrespectful, but your son has a bad odor." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay." So I went to the Greyhound bus and got him. I didn't recognize myself, and all I did was break down and cry because I didn't know how
Mm.
severe it was because I was already dealing one with the passing of my husband, two dealing with my mother alone, grief had already had me sunk down,
Right.
dealing. Am I going to lose the house? Am I going to do this? So I've already had all these emotions going on. And when he came, he lost all his medication. He had on sneakers that were 2 sizes too small.
Oh
So
no.
I got him in the truck, in my truck. And the first thing I did was I stopped at Walmart, got him some clothes, got him some clean underwears, got him everything that he needed. And when he got to my house, I said, okay, let's get you in the shower. My son had his own apartment. He was dealing with a caseworker up there. My son didn't take a bath for 3 months because he said, I can't take a bath, Mom. I don't have a shower curtain. So the dirt was so
Mm.
impacted on him. I thought it was scabies, and it wasn't. It was just dirt. He didn't understand.
Mm.
Said, let's slow it down. Let's do no, we're not doing this. And so he was here for 3 days and had a severe manic breakdown. And that's on my TikTok too. I'm gonna send you that video. And that's when I had to take him to the hospital, psychiatric
So
unit.
what does that look like for people who do not know what a manic breakdown?
My son, I want to die. He stole my check. It was, and I recorded it.
Oh,
I recorded it because I needed someone to see what I was saying.
right, right.
And I don't care if I die. And da 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 da. And it was just horrible. I'm gonna send you that.
Please
Please put
do.
it on your platform so
Yes.
people can see. Um, and so once, and he was in there for, they did a 72-hour hold, which gave me the time to get him signed up with Chesterfield Mental Health, this, that, and the third. So once he got out, that's when I said, I know how they treat the black community, the police. Let them know who's in my house, which would keep them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a video on my TikTok where I'm talking to the police. The police knows my son
Now,
because
how?
I went live one day when he was having a manic breakdown because I can't tell you you need to see it. So I always show Kevin the good, the bad, the ugly.
Right.
And he was going off. And one person was like, you don't got no relationship with the police. You're just doing this for clout, literally. So that next day, as I was going home, because I have to do, let me see if Kevin's outside. And I ran into one of the officers that know me. I said, do you mind saying something? All the stores around here know me. There's a neighborhood app. They all know my son. And the officer was like, oh, yes, we know Kevin. And this is why I tell people, if you're dealing with someone with mental health issues, make sure you have a great relationship with the police department. Because even if there's somebody new that comes on to the force, if someone was to say, hey, this is an African American man, he's large, he's this, he's that, his name will pop up and they say, oh, okay, this is Kevin. We can contact his mother here. We can do this. That information is already there in their system. It's
I would
already.
have never thought of that. And it's
Mhm.
so needed. I would have never thought of that. And it just breaks my heart that we have to go through those measures, but it is necessary. Oh, let me tell you what happened here. This was over this could have been in May, I think. Downtown, I'm probably gonna get this story a little messed up, but downtown there's some words I can't say on YouTube.
Yeah.
There was a pew pew
Yeah.
downtown, and some people were unalived, right?
Hmm.
So the news station was down there and they were interviewing this man. And the man, you can just tell his thoughts were all over the place. You could kind of put together what he was saying. But later on, he ended up hijacking a bus and drove it through, and he ended up unaliving someone. And then his family came on and said that he had mental illness and he had not taken his medication. And I could not believe it. And what are the odds of him being interviewed about a crime and then he ended up committing a crime hours after that?
But that's the thing about mental health. You don't know. We don't, because we keep things such a secret in our community. We want to put the shame on mental health issues. This is why we have no funding. My son is the
Mm.
reason why I have been on the pursuit of opening up my own day support center now for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no place for someone my son's age. He's only 38. And that's another thing. If you was to ask my son how old he is, he'd tell you he's 32. He's 38. That's the Alzheimer's.
Mm,
That's the Alzheimer's. If you ask my oldest children are, oh, his son is 2, his daughter's 12. No, his daughter just turned 16, and his son will be 9. My son has
mm.
lost at least 4 to 5 years of his memory.
Really?
He's been here with me for 3 months. It's 3 years.
Really? Does he have the cognitive um skill to know like that he has Alzheimer's?
No, I
Mm,
tell you something that broke my heart. Because of the spinal cord injury, he fell one day because he has a tendency of falling too. He fell, and I had to pick him up out of his room. And that's why he lost his teeth because he fell getting out of his bed, and 2 of his teeth came out.
mm.
But he said, "Mommy," and it broke my heart. He said, "Mommy, why am I like this? Am I handicapped?"
Oh, don't make me cry. Really?
Yeah.
Mm,
So as a mother, where
mm.
did I go wrong? Why didn't I recognize all this as with him as a child? Now, but I have to be, and I tell people all the time, I was a child raising children. I had my first child at 16. I had Kevin at 17. I
Mm-hmm.
had my last child at 30. So I, how can you navigate your a child's brain when you're a child yourself? But back then,
Yeah.
I had the village, aunts, uncles, all that. Even his father's family. They were there then,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm saying then,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think for the first when it really got bad, I didn't want to see it. I think I put my blinders on because I was already hurting. I was already in mental
Mm,
anguish and pain myself from the passing of Lawrence to dealing with my mother to it was just I was emotionally messed up.
yeah.
Emotionally messed up. But
Mm,
I wouldn't trade this for anything now
mm-hmm.
because he set me on the path for mental health. And this is why I bring Kevin on my platforms because there has to be a
Yeah.
face. I can say schizophrenia. You'll know the word, but can you see it? You have to put a face to the disorder. You have to. So Kevin is the
Agreed.
face of bipolar schizophrenia, traumatic brain injury, early onset Alzheimer's. He is a face. So now you can connect this disease with a living person and not just the word. And this is
Right.
one of the things that I do all the time. Like if Kevin was to come here now, because before we got on, how many times did he come knock on the door? He
He
does.
did.
He does not remember.
Mm,
I can tell him 5 times. So if Kevin comes back, if you like, you can ask him. Because I say, hey, because I always ask his permission when he's with me. Would you like me to talk about your disease? Would you like people to know? Yeah, mom, go ahead. Tell him. Okay, this is
yeah.
what it is. And I say, well, Kevin, is mental health real? Mommy, it's really real.
Mm,
So he understands he has mental health issues, but then again, he doesn't understand. It's like a
right.
double-edged sword.
So, how did you find out about the schizophrenia?
Testing, doctors, the psychiatric unit. His schizophrenia was diagnosed probably about 6 years ago, but it wasn't that bad. Now, here's the thing with schizophrenia. You can have schizophrenia disorder and not be a threat. It's just something internally with you. And Kevin was a progressing, his just progressed from mild to really quickly.
Mm. You said
Overnight,
his did?
over years, it just went up. It was like a rocket. Just you about to take off, and all of a sudden it just says swoosh.
What were the factors in the elevation of it, or was it just time?
It was just time. It was
Really?
just time. That contributed to um the head beatings, getting hit in the head so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his jaw has been broken twice within 10 years. He has to have reconstructive surgery on his jaw
Now, how did
before
that
he.
happen?
The streets. We are from New Jersey. The streets. And
Mm.
said the streets are not kind to people with mental health issues. They
Yeah.
are not. There's a young gentleman who was in Newark. Very everyone knew who Oogie was. His name was Oogie. You can look him up on YouTube later. His name was Oogie. He was a sweet man and that was mentally challenged, but everybody knew him.
Mm-hmm.
Someone came and pew-pewed him,
Really?
and no one knows who it was. Oh, so still looking for that person.
Oh,
He's better off letting the police catch him than the streets. Than
wow.
he was a beloved member. You know, growing up, you might have that same wino that everybody know growing up on the streets that don't bother
Yes.
nobody. That was Uggy. That was Uggy. All he did was dance. All the ladies loved him. He'd be downtown Newark and hear music and he's dancing. But he was mentally challenged adult. And some
Mm.
knucklehead decide to take his life.
Wow. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking a life, you want to talk about with Kevin when you said that he wanted to unalive by cop?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
that situation? If you feel comfortable
Oh,
talking
no, no,
about it.
no. This is why I talk. And this happened twice. And I'm here in my house and I'm on the phone. And this is before my husband passed. And I'm on the phone with Kevin. And I don't want to be in the morning. I said, what? Huh? Hold on, wait a minute. What? Shoot me, MF cop, shoot me. So now his godfather was an officer for Orange, New Jersey. So I got my husband's phone. I'm calling him. Hey, contact Kevin is going off down here. I couldn't just leave because I had my mother.
Oh,
Tell him he got mental health issues. We can't have this going on. This happened twice. Twice within.
what? Oh,
People really don't realize that people use the police to unalive them.
mm-hmm.
Bad enough they're already unaliving us for no reason.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Oh
yeah.
my God. Now,
So
was
I'm
that the schizophrenia, the bipolar that?
that's his full thing is bipolar schizophrenia. And it's delusional. My son is delusional. His schizophrenia is delusional. There are different categories of schizophrenia. You have people who are bipolar schizophrenia who are a harm to themselves. That's Kevin. Then you have them who are harm to themselves and others, and then you have who are harmed just to others. And the police
Mm,
department is not equipped to handle that.
they're not.
There is one town, and I posted that on TikTok that the police officers are really working with people who are bipolar,
Get
schizophrenic.
out of here.
There was a documentary. I'm gonna text you that documentary.
Send
I
it
saw it on,
to me.
saw it on
Yes.
YouTube. Saw it on YouTube, and it's amazing how they work. And this one gentleman, he was just, I hear the voices, and I got to do something. But the cops know him. The police know who he is, so they know how to approach him. And that's another thing. Kevin is the reason why I'm trying to open up my day support because there is no place for him to go. There are 3 support centers for mental health in his age group here. You have Chester House, which he went to for 2 days, but because he has the mental and the physical, and he didn't make it to the bathroom on time, oh, he's not a good fit. And we had to interview for this place. Then
Really?
there's Mill's house. I got one phone call, and all this was, and I love his caseworker with Chesterfield Mental Health because she set all this up. She said, "Okay, Mill's house. How about that?" I said, "Okay." She's going to give you a call. I said, "Great." She called me. I would love for you to come in and check out the facility. Great. She called me back probably about 2 hours later. I have a sinus infection. Can we reschedule? I understand that. Okay. I tried calling her back. She never contacted me again. And
What?
and then the last place is called Huff House, which is down here. They have 2 areas, one not far from me and one in Richmond. And so she called me. She said, "Well, what insurance does he have? Because he has Medicaid. But with Medicaid, you can choose whether it's Anthem or something else
Mm-hmm.
associated with that Medicaid." I said, "Well, I don't have that on me right now. I'm at work." So she must have went into the system and called me back and said, "Well, if you change his insurance, well, I can't change his insurance because it took me a year to find his specialist, and his specialist takes this insurance. So they're in it for the money." And that's
Mm.
what led me on to do Caregivers Corner Connection. Like when I shared my logo with you today, The
Mm-hmm.
it's two hands with the heart, the
Yeah.
connection, because it takes love to heal a brain. It really does.
Oh, I love
So
that.
that he is my reason for doing what I'm doing.
Wow.
So looking for grant money, and which is extremely difficult because I'm not a grant writer. And mine is for profit, not nonprofit,
Right.
because I'm taking all insurances. And I want to open 6 days a week, Monday through Friday
Mm.
from 6 to 6, and on Saturdays from 7 to 3 because caregivers need breaks too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. But before we go on, for people listening now, if you can hear Butter Love, can you put a one in the chat, please? I just want to make sure that you all can hear both of us because we had some technical difficulties.
Look
So
at
just
me.
put, yeah, girl, did we? But yeah, please put a one in the chat if you can hear Butter Love. So, um, okay, so how how old was Kevin with the trying to unalive himself by cop?
30 now. The first episode was 29. The last episode was 34.
Oh, so that wasn't too long ago. Mm. So
A year
when
before I got down here.
really? So is he self-sufficient to be at home by himself, or does he have to have uh constant
Well,
caretaking?
I'm 10 minutes away from work.
Oh, hey,
So
Keisha. Thank you, Keisha.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes away from work from home.
Okay.
So it only takes me 10 minutes. But I have a ranch style house, and I prep his meals because I can't not work. I have to work in order to we won't be homeless.
Absolutely.
There are 3 programs out here that will also pay you to be a caregiver, which I needed to do because I lost the income when I lost Lawrence. And you can't do both. You can't have that income and you can't have an aid come in. It's always a catch-22 when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to services in this country. Why, I
Mm,
don't know. So
yeah.
I needed the extra income to continue to live with a roof over our head. But he can be here. Now he does have a tendency of walking around the corner to the gas station, but I live in, when I say leave it to Beaver neighborhood, and I work damn hard to get here,
Mm-hmm.
and I to keep staying here where he's safe because he is safe here.
Mm-hmm.
But the most he'll do is a walk around the corner, and when I send you the video after this, you will see I talk to the cops, but even though all the stores know me around here and know Kevin, because I had to.
Mm.
This is me making sure that he's
Right.
fine. All the police officer got to do is say, "Hey, Kevin, your mom said go ahead on home." Oh, okay, and he'll walk back around the corner home.
That is excellent. It just makes me wonder, would they have, this is my intrusive thoughts taking hold, when they have new hires at the police station, like, look, y'all need to know who this young man is.
Mhm.
Just I would want everyone to be on the same page. Brothers have it and sisters. We have color on our skin. It is dangerous. I mean, and it's scary. It just breaks my heart. It really does.
I'm gonna
It
tell you
really
how
does.
good of a relationship with the police that I have. They have my
Hmm.
number. So one day, and I recorded this too. This is also on my TikTok. They called me and I said, and my boss, I love my job. I may not be making what I used to make from my previous job, but he's safe. So
Right.
the police officer called me and said, "Hey, we got Kevin. He's a little rowdy. We'll meet you at your house." That's the kind of, yeah. We'll meet you at your house, Miss Banks. Okay. I told my boss, I said, Kevin's having an episode. She said, go ahead. We just take an early lunch. Okay, thank you. I came home. I said, Kevin, this, no, and you don't understand. Kevin. And the police officer, hey, buddy, come on, let's talk. That's the kind of relationship I have with the police officers around here. Black, white,
That was my next
Hispanic.
question.
I don't play. This mine. This is mine. He is not a threat to you. He is not a harm to you. And this is why I was so adamant about letting them know. Just because he walks like a toddler because of his Parkinson walks and his head, like if you look at any of my, his head shakes
I've
uncontrollably
seen
like
that.
this. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just say we got a new white couple that moved into the neighborhood and they see Kevin walking. There's a suspicious African American man outside and he looks weird. Now, let's just say I didn't put those things in order and the police come and
Yeah.
they say, get down on the ground, but he can't help doing this. It will
Mm.
seem like he's saying no.
Right.
You
Woo.
have to put those preventative measures in place. You have to make them accountable. We just had last year, I believe the gentleman's name was Ivo. He was unalived in a mental institution here by the police and the staff.
In the institution? What
He had a manic
happened?
he had a manic breakdown. They took him to the psychiatric unit here,
Right.
and from the site, the police put him on a 72-hour hold. They transported him, and how they did it, they made it worse because they made it panic. You can't be aggressive if they're not aggressive towards you. So the
Mm.
police handled it wrong, the staff handled it wrong, and he was unalive. They kept down on him and they suffocated him. Ivan Ivo, you can look it up. And then last year, there was another gentleman, but he was white. There was another gentleman. The judge put him on a 72-hour hold, took him to that same hospital. One of the oilies said, oh, he kicked me. He didn't kick him because the body cam fully said that. And the nurse said, get him out of here. They let him out. He was walking home, got to the wrong house, didn't know where he was because remember now he's going through a manic breakdown. The homeowner called the police. The police came. Pew, pew.
See? You
Yeah.
know, I'm glad you said that because I know someone very close to me there in law. I need to ask her about that, her and her husband. Yeah. Just because they've been in it for so long and they just have a different mindset. Yeah, you just made me think of something. We'll have to get back to each other with that. But
Yeah.
that is so unfortunate. And it makes me wonder why they don't have things set up like that. But I really pray that a lot of people will listen to this knowing that they can go to their police stations just to get that information out. Because
Mm-hmm.
as simple as it is, I'd never thought about that.
But
So when
it's
I
not
saw
just the
you,
police station. I contacted EMS and my local fire department. There's the fire station is right down the street from my house.
hmm,
The police station is up the street from my house, and the state trooper's office is down the street from my house. They all know me.
wow.
Mental health is a big issue in the Black community. I posted today about a young African American boy who left a suicide note for his sister. Did you see that post?
I saw it. I didn't press it when I was getting this link that I just put in, and it was he was a dark skinned brother, right, and had some locks. Yeah.
And I tell people all the time when I go live, a smile can hide a lot of pain.
Oh
A
yeah.
smile, but see, we don't think of that because we have a big issue of telling, especially Black men, real men don't cry. Yes, they do. Real men cry. No, you a punk. You can't cry. Don't do this. All we telling young girls, girl, you better tough it up. Da, 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 da. Our mother did this for. This is not her mother's time.
Right.
We
Right.
we suppress our own community to the point when we do explode, instead of trying to get resources and help, which there are no resources out here. But if you shout enough, if you yell enough, if you scream enough, maybe we can get resources. Hence
Right.
why I share his journey.
I love that. I work with my 9 to 5 job. I work I'm around a lot of brothers,
Mhm.
and the topic does come out about mental health. And because when I go in to do the workshops, I make sure that I create a safe space.
That part.
But I love the stories I hear. Oh my God. It just makes me so sad to hear. But on the flip side, it makes me happy because they are able to get it out. And they said that they've never had a space where they could because they weren't allowed or they never even seen it. I mean, and I get it. I mean, I get it. And when I share, I always say we all always have a lived experience. And a lot of
Mhm.
people think that it's just secluded just to them. And that's when I first learned of the term crashing out.
Ooh.
And yeah, I just learned that last year. You know, they're a lot younger than I am, but I'm glad I want to learn these terms. And that's what some of the younger, well, when I said younger than me, they were full grown men, and saying that they have no one to talk to, and that he said just last month I was about to crash out, and then another person in the room, you too, let me tell you what happened. And then it was just everyone just started throwing in their experience. It was heavy when we started, but it also was
Yeah.
lighter because they were able to get it out. And a lot of people say that men aren't, they don't have emotions, but they do, but it comes out in anger at
But
times,
look what we
you
do to
know?
them. Look what we do to society.
Yeah,
Look, and it, like I said, it all comes from slavery.
it does.
This all comes from slavery. So it's like this. It's like it's the faucet. That faucet is clogged, right?
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, when it bursts, that's the emotions because they don't have a
Mm-hmm.
safe place. And a lot of these men are using drugs to cover up that pain.
Yeah.
And you wonder why. And I'm not making an excuse for anybody because I'm a DV survivor. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not making an excuse for anyone. But when you see a man who snaps on his woman or snaps on his child, where that's coming from? Was it a learned behavior? Did he have a dad that had that issue and it was learned? Or did he not have a man in his life to say, hey, that's not right?
Mm-hmm.
It is something that we have to get over. We have to take the stigma out of mental health. We have to let these men let it out. Think about how many
Absolutely.
black men have been sexually assaulted as a child and keep it in.
Oh, say SA because of YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SA. SA. Think about the
Mm.
young gentlemen who have been SA'd as a child.
Let me tell you, I am going to go back in my YouTube history. I watched this girl.
Mm-hmm.
I watched this documentary, and I'm not trying to be funny. It was like a Tubi movie for real before Tubi came out. It was so low budget, but you know what? This brother was in the hood and he was talking about the same thing. I was glued to that doc. It was for 3 hours. He had at least 40 men in the room, and you know, at least 30 of them said that that happened to them.
Yeah, it's the truth. Look how
Ugh,
we force our kids to hug relatives. Don't give your aunt so and so a hug. Why? If my granddaughter don't want to hug you, as long as she respectful and say good evening, ma'am, hello, ma'am,
that's
she ain't got to
right.
give you a kiss and she ain't got to hug you.
That's
You're
it.
allowing these predators, these people, to come into our homes, and then we're not believing them. There's a cartoon on my TikTok. Did you see that one?
Mm-mm.
There's a cartoon. It's a mother and a daughter, a black family,
Mm-hmm.
and the daughter is telling her mom, "Mom, Uncle so and so comes in my room and does naughty things to me." The mom is like, "Shh, don't say nothing, or they're gonna take him away." And then you can see him peeping out the door, saying, "Good, she don't believe her, so I can keep doing what I'm doing." That's on my
Yeah.
TikTok. That's on my
See?
Facebook. That's on my Instagram. We got to take this stigma out. We gotta hear our kids and see our kids. We gotta stop telling our children what goes on in the house stays in the house. That's over 400 years ago. Let's let it go. Let it go.
Exactly. In silence, I always believe that abusers can find solace in our silence, and they know nothing will be said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The actions continue, and I believe it's part of a generational cycle that we have. And it's a blessing to talk to you as a generational cycle breaker. Because I'm
Oh
with you.
yeah,
I would not have my kids, I would not force them to hug anyone. I mean, and
that's
I,
right.
I I think it's a good thing, because I think if you force them to do it, they become people pleasers, and in
They do.
turn, they won't learn boundaries. They won't have their own boundaries, and they won't even develop their own autonomy. Because there's
Not even
always
just
someone
that,
telling them what to do.
but not just that. Think about the hurt and pain. Look at our prison system. Look at our
What do you
juvenile
mean?
hall.
What do you mean?
If you think about all the people, all the young black people that are in prison or juvenile hall with some form of mental health issue and
Hmm.
was never diagnosed properly, because either we're
Oh,
misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed, or over medicated to keep us silent, because we tell our children, shh, don't say
yeah,
nothing. So when they go
yeah.
out here in this world and they do something because they're suppressing all that hurt and anger and that mental anguish, because how I try to describe Kevin, it's like, let's just say this is a glass, right? This is
Hmm.
just a normal piece of glass, and I drop it, and it shatters.
Hmm.
But I take the pieces and I glue it back together, but you can still see where it cracks. Like the wiggly lines. That's a
Right.
person's brain who is dealing with mental health. It is
Mm.
broken glass being glued back together, but you can still see the lines. You can still see the cracks. So we are sending our children out here, telling them to suppress their feelings, telling them to
Yeah.
suppress what's going on with them. If my child says, "Oh, mom, I don't feel good here," how many parents you heard, "Girl, you ain't got no problems. You
What
don't
you
feel
have to complain about? You're fed. You have a shelter. I fed
that's it.
you. You have clothes. Go to school. That's your job.
That's it.
Girl.
No, that's it. So you're telling your child to hush, but we're
Yeah.
quick to put a band-aid on a cut, but we're not quick to fix and band-aid this.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you band-aid this and let it heal, because this right here, it's going to take longer to heal than that bruise that they've had.
Ooh.
It's going to
So
take
true.
longer.
So true. So true.
And
Oh
then you
my
wonder
God.
why a lot of kids go no contact with their parents. But that's not, hey, I was blessed to not be raised by a narcissist mother.
You said you was or was
I was
not.
blessed. Was not.
Oh,
My mother had her ways because she was born 1930. So I did hear what goes on in the house, what stays in the house. Kids,
yeah.
I heard that. But when I was assaulted, when I was at stage at 13, she believed me. She believed
Oh,
me.
good. Woo.
These children are suffering. These people are going no contact. And as a mother, the things that I know, I hurt my children, but I asked for forgiveness and they forgave me.
Oh, really?
Oh God, my children are my legacy. My
Yeah.
kids are my legacy. What I've done to them is not their fault. It's not my kids' fault. It's my fault. I was the parent. I may have been a teenage parent, but I was the parent either way, even as I got older.
Right.
Your brain is not fixed as a child, a pregnant at 15, had them at 16.
Mm-hmm.
It's not computing. Even though I had that village because I graduated high school, I graduated college. But here, I wasn't right. I wasn't mom.
Yeah,
Even
you
though I
were
was the
still
family
a
breadwinner,
child.
here we go. I
Still a
was still a child.
child. Child
There are
raising a
things.
child.
There are things that I said to my kids that I know messed them up,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful that my children love me enough to forgive me.
That's a
I was
blessing.
I was not that. My kids will say, "Mine, you're a superwoman." No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Please don't label me that.
Yeah.
I got faults and issues. How many times that I just dropped you off at Aunt Vernell's house so I need to go out? Even though they were safe, that's my mother's sister. Or how many times just go sit down somewhere. Yes, Kevin. Huh? Come in, son. I want you to say hi to people.
Mm.
Come in. Yes, you can call your daughter tomorrow. Come here, baby. I want you to come say hello. Wait, man. Come here, baby. Uh-oh.
There he is. Hey, Kevin.
Hello, how you doing?
Oops.
Did you get your honey bun?
Yeah, got away, man.
She.
Yeah, pull that chair up really quickly. Because we always talk about mental health in this house, right?
Yeah,
And mental health is what, son?
real.
It's really real, right?
Yep.
Scoot over some more.
Yeah, so
And
we
this
can see him.
Scoot over some more with mommy.
Little more. That way. Wait.
Now, so we talk about everything because we what? We tell the truth, right?
Great, man.
Okay. So this is my son Kevin, my honey bun king.
I am one way.
Did you get him that honey bun from earlier?
Yes, girl, he got his honey bun.
Okay.
I need one right now.
I'll think about it.
I swear to God, I need one
So-
right now.
So we're gonna tell your full diagnosis.
Go ahead, man.
I asked his permission. So
I
Kevin's full
love it.
diagnosis is bipolar schizophrenic with severe depression, traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury. He also has early onset Alzheimer's, Parkinson's walk, not Parkinson's disease, due to the spinal cord injury. And he's a mama's boy. He's on 3 psychotic medications
Mhm.
and one to help calm him down. Our biggest argument is drinking water because I don't play about his health.
Good.
That's our biggest argument.
I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work. I'm thirsty now. I wanna work.
I'm shocked his head is not shaking as much as you've seen it. So
Yeah, I
think
have seen it.
Yeah. His head shakes like this uncontrollably. But we
Yeah.
have a good relationship with the police out here, right?
Yep.
And all the stores around here know you,
Yep.
know your brother,
Yep.
the Walmart, the gas station, the Wendy's. They all know-
Oh.
and they all have my number. And if he needs to come home, if I can't get him, who will pick you up?
My brother Steven.
His
Who?
older brother. My oldest son.
Really?
They have everybody's contact.
Wow, that is a village.
That's
Yeah.
my boy Steven. My boy, I love him, brother. I love him. I really
You
love
love your
brother.
brother?
Yeah, I know. I love
Okay,
him.
let me ask you a question. How old are you?
34.
You're 34? Okay, but if you was born in 1986, son, that doesn't make you 34. That makes you 38.
I've been 34, man. They made me 34, man. They made me 34.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
My daughter's 12 years old.
No, she's a sophomore in high
She's
school.
12 years old, man.
Okay. How old is your son?
My son's 4 years old.
Okay.
No, kid's 2 years old, man.
2? Okay.
Yeah, kid's 2 years old.
Oh, okay. How long you been here with me?
Like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll give you a honey bun. Let me finish my interview. And
Yeah, man.
I will give you one when I finish my interview. Can you tell everybody, see you later?
See you later.
Who's
Bye,
the biggest mama's
Kevin.
boy?
Kevin.
Kevin's the biggest mama's boy?
Yes, man.
Okay.
I
will give you
a
wait. When I finish the interview, I'll go ahead and get you another honey bun.
Okay.
And I might leave one in the refrigerator for you when I go to work.
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah, do that.
Okay. Tell everybody good night, son.
Good night.
Pick
Good
your feet
night,
up, baby.
Kevin.
Pick your feet up. All right. And I'll be out there as soon as my interview's done. Okay, sweetheart? Now, if there are any dishes in your room, me and you going to have a problem.
Uh-oh.
All right? Because you know I'll fight you, right?
He's like, you better give me that honey bun, Ma. Honey buns are good. I don't know why you don't like them. I heard you tell them earlier. I don't even like honey buns. I do.
My son said thank you. How's it going, baby? Now you see what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
So I like showing his face because if you don't have a face to a disorder, how are you going to explain the disorder to get funding and help for the disorder?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's my mama's boy.
How do the siblings get along with his diagnosis? How does that look?
It was extremely, extremely difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
At first, they didn't want to see it. Um, my youngest son, who is active Marine, because my oldest son is a veteran, I'm very proud of that. But my youngest son, who is active Marine, came down because he transferred from Virginia to Minnesota, and so he had to go to North Carolina for another MOS training. He made corporal, and so he was
Nice.
in North Carolina, so he was able to be up here with us for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I went to
Mhm.
pick him up for Thanksgiving, and it was myself, my youngest son, Kevin, and my granddaughter in the car. And Kevin was in the back seat with my granddaughter, and he loves that song, "Butter Love." Uh, what's the name of that group? Next, you
Give
got
me
that
that honey
confidence. Yeah,
love.
he loves that song. So my youngest son is in the front seat with me, and Kevin. And so I said, "All right, Kevin, go ahead, sing it, son." When I tell you, my youngest son broke down, and he said some
Mm.
things on camera. He didn't want to put his face on camera, but I have him talking about it, and it broke his heart.
Mm.
Now, it's I'm not going to say they accepted his disability, but they made peace with it because you would never accept
Okay.
that. Seeing
Okay.
your brother go from vibrant, happy, reading algebra and calculus books for fun. That's what he did growing up. He didn't get that mathematical genius from me.
Wow.
He used to read algebra and calculus books for fun. That ain't me.
Neither me.
But to see him go through that transformation,
That's a
it's
lot.
hard.
That's a
And his
lot.
daughter,
I was going to
his
ask you
daughter,
about his kids. Yeah.
oh my God, his daughter, she is high honor rolls scholar. She might graduate high school early. She wants to be an exotic animal veterinarian. She says, "Grandma, I think I might want to go to Princeton." Yeah, I said, "You want?" No, I said. She said, "Princeton, oh, yeah," because we got into the conversation of college. Princeton, oh, yeah. I said, "Oh, you might want to go there." No, Grandma, I'm going. Okay,
Okay.
but she changed her mind because they don't have what she wants to do. So now she's going to UCLA. But it was a
Okay.
hard thing because when he came down here, she didn't see him. She would speak to him, but she hadn't seen him in a few years. So her
Mm.
mother and I showed her videos. We talked about it. Don't worry about your dad. I got your dad. He is not your responsibility, and I'm gonna make sure he's safe. So she came down here a couple of times. The first time she came down here, she was prepared mentally, but it's still hurtful. She's 16.
Mm.
That's her daddy. She looks just like
Yeah.
her. That's her dad. She'll tell you in a minute. I got her on video on TikTok where my oldest son took her and spoiled her rotten. And she came back, and my oldest son and Kevin was play fighting. She was like, "Don't touch my daddy. Uncle Stephen, I'll fight you with my daddy." She don't play about her daddy. Now,
Wow.
his son, I haven't seen him in a few years, and that's not because of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Not everybody can
Mhm.
be a mom or should be a mom.
Understood.
Yeah, but he's well. I get pictures of him from people when they run into somebody that we know. So
Hmm.
his son KJ will be 9 September 25th.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay.
Mhm. He will be 9 years old. He looks like his mom. He's a little short, so but
Mhm.
the last time I spoke to her, I said, when she tell me what was going on with him in school, I said, you need to get him checked. Now, what's crazy is his pediatrician, when he was just little, is his son's and daughter pediatrician.
Oh,
They go way
wow. Okay.
family. And I said, hey, let me call the doctor. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? I'm fine. She's gonna bring KJ up. I need you to find a specialist for him. And he was diagnosed with DMDD.
See, I'm glad you mentioned that too. It's going back to what we talk about keeping family secrets and we don't want to talk about what's going on. Just for what you're talking about right now, think about the genetic, the medical part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is one important reason right there. Everyone's so quiet about it. And now you look, you told his mom he needs to get checked.
I'm breaking the family cycle. I'm
I
doing
love
generational
it.
curses. I am breaking that cycle.
You really
I have
are.
to break it because I don't want anyone to deal with or go through what I deal with or go through. This
Right.
is this is a struggle. I'm watching my son deteriorate every
Mm,
single day.
mm,
Now, I also talk about on my platforms because he is bipolar schizophrenia with other issues. Kevin has life insurance, and the only two people that's on his life insurance is his two children.
mm-hmm,
I've already prepaid for his funeral. The only thing
mm,
different that I did, and this was a family discussion. His brain is going to be donated to science. We need more information on it.
mm-hmm.
I have a will and a trust. My oldest and my youngest are conservative. Now, my oldest son, as I said, is a Marine veteran. What he had to do to come home to the States alive, he has severe PTSD. My youngest son is active Marine. This is his career. In my will and my trust, he cannot live with them. But there's enough money in insurance that he can go to a beautiful facility. And
Mm.
it's already written. Let's just say my oldest son wants to move out of state. He's allowed to take Kevin out of the state and put him in another beautiful facility. Because they say, "Mom, we're not gonna leave him and go out of state. No, 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 no. No, no,
Right.
he's going where we going, but we just gonna make sure." And I told him I'm not gonna make y'all conservatives unless y'all agree to this. Because this is a lot. And you can't have bipolar schizophrenia locked in the house with PTSD.
Right.
That's
Wow.
that's thunder and lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder and lightning. So everything is already set up as far as who's controlling finances for him, who has medical over him. I have guardianship, and that's another thing I tell people. Guardianship is for the adult. It's better because it gives you more scrutiny. Hi, mom. Oh, that's my son. Hey, son, you got on. That's my youngest son, Tali. I saw I was doing this. Hey, baby. You just tried to call. You just missed your brother, son.
Oh, he said something.
No, you have medical over me. You and Steven have medical both over Kevin. So y'all both got financial and medical over him. Y'all share that responsibility, son. Remember? Now, if something happens to me, because such a large space gap between him and my oldest and youngest, he's seen how Alzheimer's can hurt someone. Because
Mm.
he had the grandma who was sick. Steven and
Mm.
Kevin had the healthy grandma. So I gave
Okay.
him medical over me because my oldest son, in his mind, if that was to happen to you, mom, you're gonna live with me. No, I'm not. No.
He said,
See,
no,
my
no, no.
youngest son, Talik, he will honor my wishes. And I told my children, I want you to live your life. You know how
Mm.
much I have in investments, life insurance, pension, all that. Put me in a nursing home, a really nice one. Come visit me, make sure I don't have any bed sores. Put the grandkids on my lap, hold my head up, hold their head up, put a bib on me, a bib on them, take a picture, kiss me on the cheek, and go live your life.
I
I'm not doing this
love
to you.
that.
I'm because we quick to say, I'm not putting this person in caregiving. When you're dealing with somebody mental, it's rough. It
So
is
let me
extremely rough.
let me ask you this before we close out. What do you do for your self-care? Like, or when you just want to decompress? I've seen you sometimes I've seen you in your car. You're like, I just need a minute. And when I saw you do that, I was like, that's good. Just thinking
I
about
have to.
herself.
I have to.
Yeah.
Well, my youngest one, when he was here in the state, if I needed a break, uh, Kevin's driving me crazy. All right, mom.
Hmm.
And I go get my feet done, or I go sit in a coffee shop, bring my laptop. And my oldest son
Nice.
will do the same thing because my oldest son lives 7 minutes away. Or
Oh, okay.
when I put him to bed, I love my music. I'm an old R&B junkie. If I don't do nothing but get in my car and ride around the block and play my music, that's what I do.
Mm, beautiful.
Or I would
Beautiful.
come in my craft room. Like I had to stop crafting because it's too much. She goes out and use my watch, grandmother or my brother. I would drive. Yeah.
Nice. She goes out and
So
I used to she can go so you can go and relax. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
when he came up, son, I was telling him the time when you was up here for Thanksgiving and you actually saw Kevin's disability in the car, and then you spoke upon it on my social media platform. He didn't want to show his face, but
Mm-hmm.
he spoke upon it. Like I said, they don't accept it, but they made peace with it. So,
That's
like
good.
when he came up here the last time, a friend of mine's a DJ. He said, "Mom," I said, "What? Do you mind?" He said, "Mom, go. Kevin is asleep. I got great kids. I got amazing children."
You do. You really do. I love everything about you, what you do. Yeah, because you living out loud. And
Yeah.
that's you really are. And it seems like you're wanting your kids to do the same thing as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's beautiful, beautiful. So I'm gonna want you to come back because you know the list that we talked about. You're so multi hyphenated.
Anytime. Love you, Mom. Okay, you just landed. Okay, son, I love you too. Call me tomorrow. Enjoy the wedding, son. I love you.
Ah, that's so
That's my
cute. I
youngest.
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So while we close out, are there any what advice you would give to someone who is a caregiver of someone who has mental illness, physical? What would you tell them?
First thing I would tell them is before you even take on that role as caregiver, understand the disability that that person has. And number one, don't allow anyone to make you be their caregiver because you're setting aside your life to make sure that person's life is right. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no shame in saying, I can't do this anymore. It does not make
Yeah.
you weak. Maybe that person needs to go someplace because whatever they're dealing with has progressed beyond what you can do. But you're still a
Mm-hmm.
caregiver, even though they're not living in your house if you have power of attorney and guardianship.
Mm-hmm.
Understand medication, take care of yourself. Don't forget about who you are as a person.
Mm.
Get lost in this, especially with mental health. Especially
Mm.
mental health. That's why a lot of caregivers turn to substance abuse.
I can see that. Yeah, I sure can. Yeah. And I get it. I get it. I get it. Especially if you come from a background of not letting those emotions out or speaking, especially with sisters, because we have that super black woman and we can do everything and take everything on. No,
Oh yeah, don't call me
I'm
Superwoman.
don't call me that either. I'm in my soft girl era. And I promise you, I am. I really mean that. I am living a soft life, and when it gets hard, I try to live that. I don't. I'm tired of that. I'm okay not being a super. I really am. I don't even want that term on me, for real.
Mm-mm. Well, only
Mm-mm.
thing I want to
Too
do
much.
is even this village that I'm building, I'm grateful for, and I want to build that bridge. It may not
Yeah,
be completed in my lifetime, but I want the next person to maybe put that next plank down because we are stronger together in the black community than we are apart.
we are. We really are. We are strong people. Like we're the resiliency of us. So
We had no choice.
we had no choice. You're right. Well, guess what? Oh, Butter Love, guess what?
What?
You are a black girl that has her shift together.
Yes, I love it.
This for the Queen sisters manifesting.
All right, stay on the line. Everyone, thank you so much. Butter Love, thank you so much for coming on. I knew this was going to be
Yes.
everything. I knew it. You came with it. Do not disappoint. And thank you everyone who was in the chat. And make sure you like, comment, share this video with at least two people, two of your besties, two people who are caregivers, or just two people that you love. We need to spread this around.
and
Mhm.
take the shame out of mental health. Let's
Take
stop
yes.
hiding our family members in the closet.
I know that. Exactly. On that
Mhm.
note, you will be seeing Butter Love and I together. Yeah, this is some good stuff. All right, you all. Thank you. Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night.